Fight or Flight feels like it's heavily inspired by Bullet Train. Even everyone, when they saw the trailer initially, was like, oh, this is Bullet Train on a plane. And Bullet Train's been one of my favorite action comedies I've seen in the last couple of years. So I was excited by that concept, especially with Josh Hartnett in it. But I gotta say, I also think this movie is inspired by Non-Stop, the 2014 Liam Neeson action film. One of my favorite action films I saw last decade. And I think this movie is like a mixture of those two. Has all the ingredients from those films to be great as them. But I think that the oven was shut off a little too quick on this one. But not all is lost, because Josh Hartnett has been making a Hollywood comeback. He had a really memorable role in Oppenheimer, and then he had a really memorable role in my favorite films from last year, which was absolutely ridiculous, in Trap. He returns here in this action comedy where he does most of his stunts, and he plays a mercenary that is trying to get redemption and do one last job, just one last job, and he's set free from all his obligations. But of course, it's supposed to be easy, but it's not. Of course it's not. Then there will be no movie. He absolutely steals the show as his character named Lucas Reyes. He looks like he's having as much fun as he possibly can in every aspect of this character and every scene that he's in. He absolutely steals the show multiple times. And I gotta say, like 80% of this film was carried up on his shoulders. From his one-liners to the way he carries his character, which was really, really fun and funny, to the fact that he committed so much to doing his own stunts, which made all the stunts and action sequences feel fluid. He's most of the reason why this movie works at all. And he tries to overcome a script that's trying to hold him back by adding so many layers of different story beats that don't really add to the plot at all. It doesn't always all come together, and there's certain aspects that they kind of like play on that doesn't come back towards the second half of the film. That feels like you spent so much time on something in the first half that makes it feel a bit like a slog a little bit. But luckily enough, he's charismatic enough to kind of get over the hump there. Because usually in films like this, when a character has a redemption arc that they're trying to go on, they show us why and tell us why this person needs redemption, why they feel like they need redemption. But this film does a lot of saying he needs redemption, he feels like he needs redemption, but never giving us the emotional investment in his character or his past or his future or why he wants to get out of the bad situation in the first place. So it feels like you're kind of like, okay, you're saying it because you're supposed to, but the movie's not doing the work for me to care. The other 20% of the film is carried by Charitha Chandra, who I was not familiar with at all, but is definitely now on my radar after this movie. She has great comedic timing. She excels at her action scenes. She has very, very good chemistry with Josh Hartnett, and she also brings enough emotional depth for this film that made me care about the story just a tad bit. She's the only reason I cared about the plot at all. It also doesn't hurt that she's super adorable. And the plot is a bit messy because of all those aspects I was talking about that they're trying to intertwine, plus everything going on with everyone on the plane and all the jokes and things they're trying to implement. But once the second half comes in and the action gets into full gear and all the characters are starting to work together, the movie really takes off. It's almost a non-stop barrage of action, gore, and a barrage of absurdity of things that are really, really funny and really made me laugh throughout. And the crowd that I was in were laughing too. It had some really, really solid physical and just worded jokes as well. Knees and elbows bent the wrong way, necks getting stabbed, a hilarious use of a chainsaw, which is kind of worth seeing it in the movie on itself. And it gets really trippy, hilarious, and really, really fun. While the film does remind me of Bullet Train and Non-Stop, the movie lacks the side characters that were really, really fun in that movie, and also the running gags that you see throughout that film, and the kind of film you will see in one location action comedy. It doesn't do that enough, while also reminding me of Non-Stop, where that movie is a little bit more serious and not comedic, but doesn't have the emotional investment in the character and their stripes that they're trying to push on us to really get me into what they're trying to sell outside the action. It tries to do both. It tries to have these serious moments in the film, but also try to be this absurd comedy. And because it doesn't commit to either tone, it comes off like it was half done on each side. But luckily, it's saved by the absurd action sequences and the amusing banter between the characters. But with this one, I'm not saying to go run to the theater, especially if you haven't seen any of the major films that's come out the last couple weeks, like Thunderbolt, Sinners, Minecraft, and anything else that's come out. But you're in for like a fun action comedy that doesn't waste your time and is not too long. I say go check it out at a matinee. You probably will have a good time, especially those chainsaw sequences. Those are really, really dope. The second half of the film really does take off. But if you want to wait for streaming, I wouldn't blame you either. So with that said, I'm going to give Fight or Flight a C. If you saw Fight or Flight, what do you think of it? And the question of the day is, what is your favorite action comedy in the most recent years? Drop your answers down below and let me know. And you can watch more content right now.